are actually in line with with Johannan's beliefs.
Yeah, I know.
I know you don't like him. I know you definitely don't like him, actually.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about, but can you...
He was Johannan Rotz.
I don't know who that is. Just tell me what you...
No, I think you do know who he is.
Okay, son.
No, you guys were talking on the Line Ghost show. Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I understand what you're referring to. I apologize. I don't fully...
My type of theism is extremely out there, and I am actually... My views on theism are not liked by pretty much anybody. That includes fellow Christians, so that's fun.
Okay, but that's interesting.
My belief is panentheism. Panentheism is this idea that the universe is in God.
Is it like what Johann believes?
Please help me with this, because I'm genuinely curious, because you said, you just said that you were not, or your beliefs were not supported by most Christians, so you believe yourself to be a Christian. But what does that mean? Please,
I guess I believe that, what I believe is that, as crazy as this sounds, I think there was a guy named Jesus who lived about circa 2,000 years ago in Palestine. That's one. Yeah, that's sort of good. But I also think that the tradition that he rose from the dead holds up after historical scrutiny is done.
Okay, now that's interesting, because this is also one of Jason's points as well. What do you think is and let's just deal with it one at a time, what do you think is the most persuasive evidence for the fact that Jesus was resurrected?
Oh boy. I would say that...
Your top argument.
Pardon?
Yeah, just the simple and best stuff.
Oh god, this is going to be fun, especially because I'm dealing with, 5 atheists and 1...
But you got to bear in mind that we got no real interest in actually just
I think you do. You want to jump on me?
Nicholas, it's not like we've had this conversation before anyway. Just go into the evidence that you get.
Maybe Neo wants to jump.
Hold on, no. I want. You asked me.
I think he's quite right to say there's 5 atheists. There are, but there were 4 than Jason. But we will treat you.
I think that.
Just
okay,
tell us what your argument is.
Here's what I think. I think that when you examine the historical Jesus and you try to come up with something that kind of explains away the resurrection, when you try to come up with a hypothesis, the more unfalsifiable they get.
Okay.
Right? And I think, pardon?
Can I just ask you a question about that, if I may?
Sure, go ahead.
Right. When you say when we examine, you are obviously talking about things that you'd be able to refer me to, for example. So what are you examining?
When I say refer to something, keep in mind what we've got are the Christian writings. And all we can do is see whether or not they hold up to scrutiny, right?
Right, and
that includes...
Would you accept, for example, that there are certain inconsistencies in the 4 main Gospels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, are you talking? Sorry, it's a question.
Wait. Can Jason Burns please mute his mic? Because
it sounds like a zipper going up and down.
That's his mic. That's Jason Burns' mic.
It could be. I don't know.
Getting some reverb going through. That's what it is whenever we speak.
Just especially, are you looking at works beyond the Bible, and if so,
like Apocrypha?
Which works are you looking at?
I'm looking at well, when I say the Christian writings, I am referring to the Synoptics, of John, of course, the Pauline epistles, the early letters of the early church fathers like Clement and I think.
And at this point, I'm going to sound a little condescending, but you're one of the few Christians who've actually read some of this shit.
Yeah, it's actually fun to read. The thing is that when you go into it, text criticism is always kind of a changing field. It kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, but when you kind of place all of the Christian writings, like I even read the Gnostics, and in that you basically get a Jesus where he starts acting like in the Gnostic Gospels, Jesus starts acting like Morpheus from the Matrix, and it's really fun.
Let me just bounce off. Saying you've actually read it, and you have this has always been one of my beefs with things like the Bible, is that the apostles hung around for Jesus for what, 3 years, something like that, and they watch him perform numerous miracles. They declare him to be the Son of God numerous times, or similar, right?
Yeah.
And then, even after he is crucified, there is at least one of their number and he comes back from the dead, who still doesn't believe. I mean, for me, this is one of these things that I forget his name. Would the apostles die for a lie?
You mean the Thomas story or the? Yeah, there's
the doubting Thomas thing, but there's also I've forgotten his name. Would the apostles die for a lie sort of thing. But even when they are taking Jesus away, it's one of those things. You get Peter who renounces him, and if you could hang around with the Son of God for 3 years and still not be sure, how can people who have not hung around with him for 3 years be sure?
Put yourself in a picture of Palestine in the 1st century. It's really hard to do, but put yourself in 1st century.
Probably impossible to do. I
understand, but
I would guess. I would honestly guess.
No, I don't mean literally. I mean just.
I'll give it a go. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Now, all around you, there are street preachers who are claiming to be the Messiah. You have a guy named John the Baptist who is really popular.
John the Baptist, I think, is dead by that time.
Well, no.
Yeah, he's been served on a silver platter.
What I'm saying is that around the time when Jesus is going around saying, "I'm the Son of God" and stuff like that. Okay, when you have that sort of thing going on, there's kind of this weird. Everybody is sort of looking to follow someone. Everybody's trying to find a group that they can belong to, and there are.
But don't you think that's true now?
I do think it's true, but I don't see how that's a big issue.
Well, wait, I got a question. If back then there were lots of people saying the same thing, like.
Well, I want to finish though.
Okay.
I want to finish.
I thought you were gonna. Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay. No problem.
What I'm saying is that in that era, there are a bunch of messianic preachers, and you get a bunch of people who. Basically, what you're living in is an area that has been conquered and reconquered over and over and over again. Now, just imagine the mindset of that period. Things are really tense. Things are very on edge. And you're looking for somebody to follow, somebody that you can trust. And suddenly you come across this person who's a little bit aloof, but has a slightly caring person. He speaks in apocalyptic tones, but he can but there's something about him that is quite relatable to you, and you follow him. Now, this man is named Jesus, and you go along with, and you basically go along with him for a while, and he says some weird things occasionally. He says some very weird things. It's no weirder than a lot of the stuff that's being said around this time, but you still like him. and you find his teachings very compelling. His egalitarian approach is quite unique in this area. And suddenly, he does something really crazy, but there's this kind of undercurrent where he keeps saying this stuff about being God, and suddenly he does something really crazy, and it gets him killed. He says, "I am," to the Sanhedrin, and basically what that means is it's a short. He's
saying he's God, pretty much.
Pretty much. You are scared.
But there are people who say that now.
There's Lord Stephen Christ that says that now.
Yeah, but this is still. Keep in mind, I understand that there are people who constantly say, "Yes, I am God," and they're usually people who are out on the street. But
there are usually people that follow them as well.
I understand, but you have to understand when you examine it, are these people a bunch of nutcases?
Yes. And Nicholas, the question I was hoping to ask you, if I may, is this.
Why do you think they're a bunch of nutcases, though?
Because you can't.
Because you can't prove you're a god.
No, one question at a time. I'm terribly sorry. I know I'm trying to monopolize things, but if I may, just one question,
sure.
Nicholas. I think you have to accept that there are a multitude of religions out there.
I agree.
All of which include, amongst their claims, resurrection of people and miracles and explanations of the creation of the universe and the earth and so on and so forth.
Well, I understand that,
but now this is my question, if I may. Tell me why it is that you got it right and every other single religion.
Okay, you do know that I'm a universalist, right?
I don't know what that means, but you are also
a universalist.
A Christian. Tell me why it is that you have got it right, and all other people that seek to dissuade me into other religions have got it wrong. And then, if you can provide evidence, I will willingly follow your God. So tell me, what is it?
Okay, first off, I think we need to focus on this. You are aware that the arguments for God's existence just go for kind of a general type of God. It's not going for the God of a particular religion, right? It's kind of like a theistic God, whether it's, you know.
Well, I'll give you this concession. The likes of William Lane Craig, who argued for the existence of God and used spastic, in my view, spastic philosophical arguments, can never justify.
Oh, okay. What?
Justify if there's a creation, and let's say there was an entity behind the creation, which I don't accept. I'll give you that. It doesn't lead from that to your particular God.
I agree. That doesn't. That requires further arguments. That's what I've been trying to say.
I'm terribly sorry. Do carry on.